Over 2,000 years ago, ancient Chinese scholars observed the changing patterns in our natural world, the climate, the turning of the seasons, and astronomy. The scholars measured and divided the sun's annual movements into 24 equal parts, creating the 24 solar terms, which were used to govern agriculture in ancient China. Even to this day, this invention still guides the lives and traditions of hundreds of millions of Chinese people. Every year, around March the 20th, the spring equinox arrives. Sweet and fresh, crisp bamboo shoots, soybean flour rolls, and sun cakes all symbolize plentiful grain. The spring announcer gives his blessings to each home to wish for a good harvest. The spring equinox is a real equalizer. Spring is halfway through. It's just as warm as it is cold. Day and night are just as long as each other. Anren, in Hunan province, is a rural town surrounded by hills. Nearly 1,000 different species of Chinese medicinal herbs are grown in these hills. Slowly maturing through the winter, they are now ripe for picking at the spring equinox. Chinese people call this place the capital of medicine. Hello, my name is Dominic and you're watching the Seasons of China. Now we're on to the next solar term and I've traveled to Hunan province to a little town called Anren. I've heard that there's an amazing fair here. It's called the Ganfen She. Now what I do know is that 200,000 people gather in this town every year, and they have done for thousands of years to celebrate this fair. Why are the Chinese so into herbal medicine? How have they kept this market in herbs going for so long? The local people said I'd find out if I visited one particular old man, 70-year-old Chen Zhangwen. He's known as Anren's living medicine god. 你好，我找一个叫陈江文，知道他是吧？
是，从这里下去的人。
这边的人都知道他是吧？
是，全县城的人都知道他。
你们都去他那儿卖药还是什么？
他有时候他送给我们吃。
还送给你们？那么好的人。
是。
好，谢谢你啊。好，那我去找他。哇。Chen Zhangwen is not strictly speaking a doctor, but every day many sick people come looking for him. He uses the most traditional methods to examine his patients and, according to what's wrong with them, weighs out custom-made recipes. I haven't even stepped a foot inside and I'm already struck by the overpowering smell of these potions. 你好 ，Hello， 你好啊，你是陈老师 ，Hello， 我姓姜 ，Hello，nice to meet you， 欢迎，谢谢，你们家好漂亮。调兵的方式，王文，
切，
切什么？
切就是辣麦，
就这个。As with most consultations, the first thing you do at Dr. Chen's is show him your wrists. This is your heart.
你就是腰疼，来有助腰腿疼痛。你这边是青色的，是有伤，爆伤的，这样的。这个病情久， 病的时间长，不是1-2年，最少3年。
Dr. Chen's diagnosis has taken me by surprise. 4 years ago, I really did have a surgery on my hip.
这个病情久。
Without any kind of stethoscope or heat sensor or analysis, he could tell there was something wrong years ago. I don't know how he did it. But Dr. Chen's magic doesn't stop there. Anren is a traditional farming county. Everyone works in agriculture. At spring equinox, people are all busy in the fields. At this time of year, Dr. Chen's family makes a special soup for all of their neighbors. Word has it, for a hearty body and strong bones, there's nothing like it. Apart from the regular ingredients, everything in the soup has been gathered from the hills of Anren. At least 30 medicinal herbs. This is my first time collecting medicine in the wilderness.
那我们要奔里面走，
就在这个里面。
行，
踩进去。
那跟着你。这个是什么？
月风藤，赋予它生小孩以后啊，有月风，吃这个就好了。你看这个也是有，这个长出来。
这个也是一样。
这个
啊，
你跟那个牛蹄子一样的，牛蹄风。好点。
It's like every part of this forest seems to have some kind of medicine, which is quite fascinating.
Precious medicinal herbs are often hidden in the deepest forest.
This guy is in his 70s, his mid-70s in fact, and he's climbing up these mountains. We've reached a small waterfall, and now we've got to a part that I'm not even going to go and try and climb up this rock face to get to a plant up there. It's incredibly impressive, and this is a man who's never had Western medicine in his life.
这个药现在是很少了，
很少，不好找，
不好找了。像狗的石头，手发凉，人发凉，吃了这个就好了。你留一下，留一下，留一下，留一下。是。
Yeah. Well, I'm not expecting to enjoy it. It's fresh, all right.你现在是招什么东西？
看到了吗？
没有。哇哦！
出来吗？对，就是这个。
It's like a giant root vegetable. 还有什么？ It's like they found a leaf, and then they started digging on a cliff, and then we've just started pulling out all of these humongous root vegetables, or whatever they are. This is extreme Chinese medicine at its best. 这个得长多久才能长那么大？
这个估计最少有80年。
80年。
80年。
After a whole winter of gaining energy, the herbs of the spring equinox are at their most potent. Chinese medicinal practitioners believe medicinal herbs that grow in nature have different properties depending on the season. Chinese herbal medicines that are picked at different times will have different effects on the human body dependent on the solar term. So different soups are consumed during different solar terms, playing different roles on physical fitness. All the ingredients are ready. 5 kilograms of collagen-rich front pig hoof. More than 30 magical herbs are stewed for over 24 hours and then ready to do their magic in the bowl. March the 20th, the arrival of the spring equinox, and it also marks the start of Ganfen She, the herbal market originating from the Song dynasty of China.
Oh, 还在弄这个，晚上还得起床去弄这个呢，也得不停地在烧。
吃早餐吧。
吃早餐吧，吃什么呢？
一看就知道了。
不知道就更愿意吃。
At a bustling breakfast stall, people are waiting patiently. Tung Pi is a breakfast speciality of Anren.
Who needs a coffee in the morning when you can wake yourself up with very spicy chili? Look at that. All right, don't need coffee. Add in a little bit more chili with chili oil. Then add in some spicy sort of carrots, bit of seaweed, tofu, and some spicy green veg. 什么都加，按照你们这个本地人的标志来弄就行。哇，谢谢，谢谢。哇，好吃，spicy. And wow, that really gets the senses good. 好吃，非常好吃。Well, it's early in the morning and Ganfen She, the 1,000-year-old market, is just starting to kick off behind me. People are bringing in sort of bag loads of wood and all kinds of stuff. I have no idea what it is, but it's a pretty exciting atmosphere.
For 1,000 years since the Song dynasty, during the spring equinox, Ganfen She sees people from across China trade all kinds of Chinese herbal medicine.
你是开这个车从江西过来的，每年都来。
来了20年了，俺的朋友在这里不做生意，也过来玩去。
那你有一些老顾客都来自哪儿呢？
是啊，
四川、
贵州的也有，贵州的也有。
他把他们那里带到这里来养活，把这里的又带回去。
关系的药，然后也可以跟当地的一些什么安人的药来换，然后到那边卖。
我们家就是做了几十年，就是做这个。
你也不吃西药呢？
我没有吃过西药，我没吃过药，
不吃西药，
没有吃过药。
In all of my years in China, it's fascinating to find a place where almost every Chinese person I've met takes Chinese medicine. But if you leave China, it's very hard to find people who actually believe in it, or practice or use it outside of a Chinese community. It's the first time I've had the chance to come to the source of it, and it's amazing to see these incredible potent herbs all around us.
对，吹的，这里是贯通的，一般的木头吹不过去的。有的是红的，有的是白的，红的效果好一点，
是吧？
小而发烧的同时，就这么一点就会好。
Identifying Chinese herbal medicines for me is simply impossible to accomplish. It's really hard to understand that Chinese people will use these strange grass roots to cure diseases, and even by taking daily, maintain their bodies. However, what you have to admire is, before the introduction of Western medicine into China in the early 19th century, Chinese people relied on these unexplained methods to cure diseases. It was their only form of medicine. In spring, plant just one grain, and in autumn you can harvest 10,000. Chinese people often use these words to describe their gratitude for the efforts of their ancestors. The spring equinox is the year's sowing season, so it has become the day to celebrate the god of herbs, Shen Nong. In Chinese mythology, Shen Nong tasted the herbs in Anren and tried the medicine, inventing a way for treating diseases with herbs. This is how Chinese medicine started.
你往天上看一下，上面都是药草药，它有2600多种，也就是神能教会我们的。
这些抽屉都是干嘛的？
屉子里面都是草药，没有感风湿了，谁要药就在这个抽屉里面去拿。
如果你有药，你可以把它带过来放这儿给别人用了。
对，
或者如果你缺一些药，你也可以自己过来取，是吧？过来用。
对，这也是一个我们安人一个活食。
It's early evening in Dr. Chen's yard. You can definitely smell the soup. After 24 hours of uninterrupted stewing, the essence of herbs is well blended with the goodness of the pork knuckle stew. The aroma of this bowl of soup is intense and warming. This is the taste of the spring equinox in Anren town.
烧吗？
有中药的味道，那挺好喝的。
This has been a spring equinox full of herbs, teaching us yet again how important nature is for the Chinese. By observing nature, Chinese people have spent the last 1,000 years extracting value from roots and grasses and keeping alive the connection between plants and the seasons. Medicine in China isn't just about healing, but more about living in tune with the seasons, eating the right things at the right time and living well. This has been passed down through millennia, keeping traditional culture alive.